Good, good thing.
I don't normally stream on the weekends.
That's all good. That's all good.
So, all right. So, welcome. While we wait for some folks to jump on, we are here in Las Vegas, and we're here with my man Tim. Tim, tell us who you are. Tell us your organization. What do you do?
Hey, you all. So my name is Tim, also known as the Intentional Millionaire. I have a YouTube channel where I talk about things that you need to do in the financial space. I teach financial literacy, but I also teach what you need to do to at least get your portfolio up to $1 million. And then from there, the sky is the limit. So that's what I do, and I train, coach, and mentor men to do those type of things.
All right, nice. Tamika?
Yeah, so I think you all know who I am. I heard you was being called out about the job, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Right,
yeah,
right,
yeah,
right.
yeah.
People was like, "Oh, that you can't make 750,000 or 2 million in these jobs. They're lying. That's all cap."
Right.
Well, again, it's I am Tamika. I'm the one from Women in Linux, where I talk about getting into tech from a DevSecOps or infrastructure perspective, and actually, coming in, working your way up. The goal is to get you to 200,000 and up, because we see the jobs that are coming in. And I showed Tim when we were sitting in the front yesterday a job
Uh-huh.
for 200,000. Then I showed him a job for 700,000. So these things are not out of the realm. They just may be out of the realm for the people that are around you. So you may have to change your circle.
Yeah. No, and it's funny because we were just on Tim's channel and we were talking, and we're, by the way, so we're all here at this event. It's called, where's it at?
Fun lunch,
Fun Lunch. See, they know about it. I don't even know.
fun lunch live,
And so you see, Tamika got the gold star.
yeah, I got
She
the
got, hold on,
I got
wait.
the VIP. I got
Hold
the
on.
VIP.
Okay, Tamika got the gold VIP. I didn't get the gold VIP. It was sold out when I got it. But I don't even know if I'd have got it anyways if it wasn't sold out. But
Right,
either way,
right.
so we actually, everybody knows Tamika. She's been on with us before.
Right.
But nevertheless, we all happened to be here. I didn't know she was coming. She didn't know I was coming. Matter of fact, I didn't know I was coming myself until about a week ago or 2 weeks ago when someone else say to Natasha says, if Tim and Tam brought you here, hit the ICARD. That's right. Because my people typically we don't do lives on Saturdays. I let them rest sometimes. But yes, if Tim and Tam brought you here, hit the like button.
Yep.
And for all of my Govcon Giants folks, you know what we do. Drop your name, drop your industry, tell us who you are. So, and then for all the newcomers like Natasha, that's here, the same thing. Look, tell us what you do, which industry you're in. That's something that we like to do. Is we like to use our time when we're together for our community to essentially share a little bit about ourselves because we don't get the chance to necessarily see each other. So I always say use this as a chance for you to be at your own conference and your own networking event because this will be shared later on. People will see this. And again, I can't tell you the number of times that when I left a live stream, that people say, who was that person again? Who was that girl? Who was that guy? And so, when you do drop that in there, staff and team members can go back in and reference this stuff. So excited to be here. We were on their channel. They were asking me questions. And so I said, look, before I answer any more questions, let's just go to my channel. So I can have that content on my channel, so we can.
And it's all good. We got. I'm gonna lay out the questions that I asked there, and we'll do that here. All
Okay.
right. So one of the questions.
And by the way, we're not going to be here long because we got we got lunch in about 45 minutes.
Right.
And we have some people that I want to grab interviews so we can have some more content to share after the fact.
Correct.
But even before we get to the questions, what is this event? What is it about?
All right.
Let's tell them that.
All right. So here's the program right here.
Yep.
Fun lunch live. Basically, here we're learning about how to create. You can create a private equity fund, a hedge fund, or an investment fund in order to whatever grandiose idea you have. Now, let me give you some context when I say idea. I'm some of the funds that we have that people have raised money for have been in the realm of 50 million, to what 2.5 billion from the Nan guy. And this morning you heard how much did he raise?
He didn't say how much he raised, but his company went from 1.5 million to 45 million a year.
Right. And those are investment funds, and there are three key pieces to uh, that you must have in your investment fund. One is someone that follows compliance, which is an auditor, and what are the other two, Tim?
The auditor, you have the auditor, you have the um, gosh, you will ask me this. You have the auditor. You have the money. You have your money person that's in charge of the money that come in. You also have
Lead.
your leads person, the person that generate the leads, and then you have the last person, which was the
Compliance, the auditor, the investor, and then the fund investor, as well. Those are the
Okay, that's
three.
a
You
good-
had
that's
two, and I had one.
okay.
But I'm simply saying that to say, what, and this kind of goes into a conversation we just had on the channel, is when you're talking about those three people, ask yourself, if you had to create a fund that was generating 250 million, what person and what character would you want those people to have that you want to work with all the time,
Right.
Around that? So just some insight. So you give more insight because you work with a lot of different people.
Sure.
And you're always looking at the character of people all the time.
So let me just say, first and foremost, I was invited here, for those that are just joining us now, I was invited here by one of my students who thought it might be in my best interest to consider doing a fund. And, I've talked about mergers and acquisitions in the past, and we have a lot of small businesses, companies that we help and we support, and we want to provide liquidity and capital and things like that to them. However, that's one aspect of the business. The other aspect of what we're looking at here that's different from providing loans, bonding, capital, lines of credit, things like that, is actually taking companies, right? And everyone knows me. I help you guys go from $0 to $5 million, and then from 5 to 20, and then after 20, I just kind of leave you alone because I figure you don't need my help anymore. But if we get you, if we get you past that $5 million, $10 million range, taking some of those companies, participating, putting teams behind them, BD team, capture management team, proposal writing team, market research team, putting a real team behind you, putting a CFO with you, putting, all of the components that you need to take it from 10 million to $20 million. And we participate, having a fund will allow us to take existing companies that are, for example, graduating 8A, and they thought they're on their last leg, essentially dying out. We essentially take those companies, acquire them, multiple companies, right? So let's say we acquire 3 or 4 of them that are in the $10, $20 million range, and then we'll take those companies, scale them up, putting our partners behind it, not just capital partners, but our other teaming partners from the best organizations in the world, because we have that kind of reach, and then taking that business and then scaling it from, let's say it's 3 companies at 10 million, 30 million, scaling it to 60 million, then turning that over to a private equity company or a large business like a Leidos, Raytheon, Northrum Group, SAIC, you know the names. So that's the idea with having a fund, and literally just being in the room and having my social media presence, my following, my audience. We connected with someone that's part of the Government Contractors Association. I'm going to bring him on. And so they already have a system in place, but because we have social presence and social proof, we're able to leverage, what I have in terms of the audience and the reach, and then what they have in terms of systems to kind of put that together. So already just being here and being present, right? I tell everyone about being present, being in the room, showing up, how important that is. That's already helping to change our trajectory in terms of what we're doing and what we're all being able to offer with you out there as well. So I just wanted to say that before we got into the technicalities of it, because again, we want to plant the seed and tell the story of even why we're here. And by the way, I'm telling you, I think I found out about this thing 2 weeks ago, and I was like, all right, fine, I'll book a ticket. And I showed up and I came out here. And so it's been great because it's opened up my mind and ideas of what's possible. One of the questions that we asked was that literally, Tamika asked me this. She said, Eric, well, what's the most money that any of your, like the people that you work with, that they have and things like that? Well, because we work with small businesses, you can't really have wealth, I guess, so to speak. You can grow your companies and make money, but you have to keep putting that money back into your business until you kind of get out of that small business mode and you go into a large business. But even some of those those persons still only have like in the tens of millions of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Here, they're talking about generating tens of millions of dollars per month, personally, not in your business, personally.
Right.
Personally, right? So the difference is, right, is, like, again, Tamika and I fly first class versus having our own private jet. That's
Right.
the difference, right? So, like, huge difference, night and day, right? Now you've got, Jay-Z, Beyonce, screw you money, as opposed to like, hey, we can go ball out and buy the bar and, that kind of stuff. You got like, we can just go buy the club and make our own party.
We own the club.
We own the club.
We own the club.
So it's a big difference, and we're super happy to share it with you. And like I said, I knew nothing. And again, I'm not endorsing them. I'm just sharing for people that just join us now what we're doing and what's happening. And since my good folks already had all this equipment and everything set up, they're like, Eric, you want to go live? I'm like, well, hey, I always got something to say.
Right.
And I think that it's really cool because people get to see me like I'm even ripping their shirt. Like people get to see me in a real world sense, doing things that may not seem like they line up with government contracting based on how you're reading it, but it all ties in together.
Right. And the other thing is too is we talk about this, Tim and I talk about this. It's like having the ability just to be comfortable to say, oh, how much did your fund raise? Oh, we raised 50 million, and it's not like, oh, that's a shocking number, or you get downplayed because that number came out somebody's mouth and somebody's totally upset with you. It's okay.
Sure.
And that's a great place to a great state of mind to be in. Now, when we talk about some key takeaways, what were the highlights for you so far as the speaker? Who stood out to you the most?
One of the things that I think the highlights for me was a couple things. One is, for me, they talked about how having different tiers of people and programs helps to not only enhance your community,
Mm-hmm.
but it also, like the people out here watching, the people tuning in, when you go from, like, say my course, right? Let's say you go to my course is $1,500, and then you move up to like maybe a coaching, but then you move to like a mastermind,
Mm-hmm.
like our PAL membership was $8,000. Well, the people that you're with at that level are a different set of people.
Right.
And, when we first like launched that program, I thought, wow, $8,000 is a lot of money for people. And I was trying to make it reasonable. But the people that are in that group, they get so much value
Mm-hmm.
from it that people have already said, hey, you should launch a 25K program. Well, you know what happens? We connect at so
high levels
that the money seems like nominal,
right.
The cost. And so for me, what I've taken away is I've been able to do a lot more for people having higher tier offerings than I was doing the lower tier stuff. Because, and again, we're covering everybody's bases, but for me, it taught me, like, for example, with the whole token, one of my PAL members connected me to the largest lender for small business loans in the country for Black and brown people. If I didn't have that program, I would have never met that person.
That's
So imagine the kind of people I'm going to meet when we have a higher tier program. Right? And so being in that group, like we literally yesterday, we had a call with my PAL team that's IT. And so one of them is working on like an AI solution for the Navy. And so one of the Navy ships burned up and they've got an AI solution. And so just being able to say, look, we're already talking to them about this. So they're already in the room, like they're already present in the room. But a few of my connections can help seal the deal. Right. And so then they've developed a solution for some space. And I've got people that I know that are into space. So I'm like, well, hey, maybe this person might help me. And so for me, what I've learned is that a couple things. Not, and I know she asked me a question about speakers, so I definitely remember the question. But I had to say that because a lot of times what's happening is we are counting pennies. And these people say that all the time. We're counting the pennies. If I did not show up, if I did not get out and say, let me make an effort to be here, let me buy I went ahead and bought it.
It's camera.
Yeah, I know, but we're still live.
Still live.
So, if I didn't make the effort to be here, if I didn't buy the ticket, if I didn't buy the actual program, if I didn't invest in myself, I would not be sitting here today talking to someone about launching a $50 million fund.
Right.
And not just launching a fund. They want to launch the fund. They want to manage the fund. They want me to do what I still do. So I get to be a partner in the fund and help make connections. And they're going to manage the day-to-day. They're going to manage the operations. So that's going to put me at a different caliber in my business and in my personal life professionally. And so these are the kind of things that I think that we all, when we're sitting back and we're watching this stuff and we're admiring Tam and her colorful outfit and we're admiring man Tim and his muscles and stuff like that. When we're sitting back and we're like, well, I'm on the fence. I'm not sure where to do it. Everyone in here took action. Everyone in here signed up. Everyone in here showed up. Everyone. And so even like me being on stage with the NFT thing, if I didn't launch my own NFT and invest, 10, 20,000, whatever I got in it now, I wouldn't have been on stage at the conference. I wouldn't be talking to Brad about launching a token. None of that would have happened. And so the little bit of money that I put into it, the rewards that I'm getting out of it is, I won't even say 10x. It's more like 20x because I wasn't even headed in that direction. And these people, not only did they want to partner with me, but they're wanting to put up the money. They want to give me access to their teams. So I'm really not even having to change anything that I'm doing. They want me to keep making videos like I'm doing right now. Talking to all 27 of you watching. By the way, thank you for watching on a Saturday. It's better than watching Netflix. So thank you for being present and showing up. So let's talk about let's take some questions. I did want to say that because I think that was some of the most important things that I've learned being here and talking to the folks in the room.
Right. Now because it sounds like what you got from the talk yesterday and just overall theme is having a team is valuable.
Oh, having a team is incredibly valuable. Right.
And then the other that I'm hearing as well too is networking and being in the room. Which is one of the things one of the themes is like being in the room. You gotta pay. Sometimes you gotta pay to be in the room. And you paying to be in the room, you also need to figure out how you're gonna network in the room. And that was one of the things that Bridget talked about, like, what did you say to somebody who's raised the fund for at $5 billion? What is the question that you're gonna ask them? Are you just gonna ask them how they did it? Or what is gonna be your direct question? Like, what are you gonna say to that person?
What's crazy is the man GK who raised over $2.5 billion, but I think he's at $5 billion now. His whole team was here. He's like, look, y'all come talk to me and ask me questions. He said to us that he only allows, I think, up to 100 investors per fund that he raises. And so he actually has a pipeline of 11,000 investors that he's got on his pipeline that are ready to invest in deals. So if we have deals, if we've got funds, and send him our thesis and talk to him, and he's got 11,000 investors ready to cut checks. So again, this thing, I mean, it can go, and everyone that I've seen here, in 2 years, they were to do this. In 2 years. So, I just dropped in there my Discord. I spent a lot of time on my Discord. I just found like a super easy way to communicate with people. I saw some questions people asked about resurgence grants and the next convention, things like that. So, I just dropped my Discord because, again, if you drop in those questions in there, maybe at 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, I could go in and answer those questions if we miss it. So I just want everyone to know that, have that information, just in case we get disconnected, the internet goes off, I don't know, something happens, I get an upset stomach, you don't know. Just in case anything happens, I want to have that in there so people can jump in our Discord. That's a great way to reach me. We've got other systems like emails and text, but because I typically respond at 3, 4 in the morning, the text thing usually doesn't work for me because it's probably inappropriate to text any of you at 2 in the morning. So the Discord is the best way to ask questions outside of this conversation, and we're going to talk about that.
Right.
So yeah, what do you say to someone who's raised $5 billion?
What's the question?
What's the question you ask them, right? One thing I have learned is that there's books that say most of the time we ask the wrong question.
Exactly. So
We
what
ask the wrong questions.
What a question are you going to ask somebody who's raised that kind of money that we have a hard time seeing, like what does $5 billion look like in your bank account?
Oh no, I don't even know. Look, I don't even know where you would keep $5 billion at. Forget in your bank account. Like you put it in Chase, Wells Fargo. I know the FDIC only covered 100,000.
Right.
So I don't know $5 billion. I don't know where it goes. I don't know how it's kept. I don't know any of that kind of stuff. But I will say that that's a good question to ask him. Say, hey, where do you keep $5 billion?
Yeah. Where do you keep that at?
Well, I think again, honestly, I think they're deploying that capital into businesses and companies.
Of course.
But like you said, if you do a capital call for, let's say, I don't know, 50 million, right? Like, where does that go?
Mm-hmm.
Is that they just wire it to your account and then you transfer it? I don't know.
Yeah,
I
don't know.
And how we know what I'd be curious? How much are the fees to wire 50 million?
I don't know. And
I don't know.
And
That's a good question.
And are they wiring it?
I'm sure they're wiring.
Or they just leave it where it's at?
Nah.
And you just get the money from them.
I didn't think about that. I think you have to wire it because if you're gonna buy someone, right, you'd have to literally, if let's say if it's all cash, right, deal, I'm buying a company, I'm sure the owner, let's say we agree to, I don't know, 5 million cash, 5 million stocks. I've got to send them 5 million.
Right.
So you got to wire it over.
That's $5 million.
I understand.
We're talking about 50.
Sometimes it's hard for people out here to understand $50 million. So I said 5 million because 5 million seems like a easier, when you're trying to eat the whole cow, it seems more palatable than 50 million. That's all. I want to be relatable. I want to be so disconnected from people.
I get you.
But I will say this. Almost like when I got first introduced to government contracting, and I'm getting introduced to this, it lets me know. And again, I have podcast guests that have $50 million funds that I was like, wow, this is impressive. But now when you go to these people, they got $100 million funds. They're like, man. So I'm like, wait. I'm like, listen, I could raise $250 million and then turn around and then lend money to my podcast guests.
Right.
I could be their capital source.
Right.
So it just makes me turn on some more light bulbs in my brain and say, okay, what am I doing wrong, right? And how do I get part of this? What's up, Jerome Hurd? How are you? So let me take some questions real quick. I see people. Natasha said, these are family office problems. Set it up once you're at 100 million liquid. They'll figure out large transactions for you. Okay, thank you, Natasha.
Yeah, I know about the family office, single family office and multi-family office.
Hold on. Let me see what we got. Natasha says, I work in health. Communications can be found on LinkedIn. Only Black Natasha Vincent in Canada. All right. Well, Natasha, I will definitely remember you because you say you're from Canada. So I am starting to get more people from Canada, but typically they're talking about NFTs and Web3. So you're talking about something different. So I'll definitely remember you. Who else? Who else do we have in there?
You also had Peter in
What's
Investor M gave you $2.
Oh, thank you, Peter. The super chat.
Yep. And then took care of Natasha, and then you have one from Slim Daddy 9.
Christina, welcome. What's going on? How you been? Paper Package Ship says, how do you find us to help you move along in contract access, finding funds to work with? So for me, one of the things that I teach when it comes to contracting, and I say this, one of my friends, by the way, you know what? We're going to have to give me a cutoff time because, I can run my mouth. Tim got to catch a play.
45, right?
Yeah, 45 is fine.
All right, let's just set the stage for everyone out there. So we got 15 minutes?
15 minutes.
All right, so 15 minutes. All right, I can run my mouth. So make sure, drop your questions in there so I can get to them because otherwise, if I don't see no question, I'm just going to keep running my mouth, which I'm sure nobody minds. I'll keep running my mouth. So contract and access. One of the things that I talk about, paper, pack, and ship. For me, I was telling a story. You know, one of my good friends and my book, by the way. If you haven't seen my books, Billion Dollar Playbook and the Govcon Launch, those are two books I have on Amazon right now. You can pick it up. And the Govcon Launch book, I mentioned a gentleman that I started off doing government contracting with, and so what he said to me a long time ago, is a couple things. One, he said is that never. I was a contractor, so he said, look, never don't start off doing houses because you're gonna be stuck doing houses. If you start off doing actual commercial work, that's gonna be your new bottom level. And so I never did residential houses. I can't do a residential house today. So my level became like commercial contract deals. So that became my like bottom threshold. And so the other thing is that, and I know Donald Trump was kind of controversial, but before he was the president and everyone looked up to him, he said, do things that are big, right? Because when you do things that are big, it gets people around you excited. And so one of the things I think that we typically in our minds, like small businesses and minorities, we typically tend to do small things, and that doesn't excite a lot of people, right? And so I know it may feel like that's your level of comfort and security, but it's really hard to get people excited about working with you when you're doing like really small transactions. If you just set your mind, your vision to something really big, it's going to attract the kind of people that are going to be willing to work for you and help you for free, in hopes to be your partner, to be an associate, to be affiliated with something that's bigger than what they have going on, right? And so for me, when you do set out like these really big visions, then you're going to attract the kind of people that want to partner with you and work with you. And so when you talk about how do you move along and access, finding others to help, having a big vision, right, is going to make you a magnet to attract the people that you need to help you. And so we go back to my example of wanting to raise money for SBA lending. So my goal, I said, was $200-300 million. So I carry that with me in my heart. That was my conviction, was to provide liquidity for, I can't say the name because it's not public yet, but to provide liquidity for this organization that does lending to small businesses. And so I knew that they had raised capital, because in order to lend money, like banks, you got to have some money to start with, and then you can lend whatever 5x that or 7x it, but you got to have a liquidity pool to be able to provide capital access. So I knew that they had already had money that was like, I think Goldman gave them $1 billion to lend out. And so this company, and again, I'm dropping a lot of hints. Maybe you could put some math together if you do some Google search. They were the 6th largest PPP lender in the whole country. But when I was talking about helping, I knew I had to help at a massive scale. Like I'm like, I can't help with like $10 million, $5 million. So I talked about $200-300 million, right? That was what I had in my brain. So when I went to the NFT event and I'm interviewing some random person just for content, that person, she said to me, she goes, how can I help you? So now, mind you, I just showed up to the event. I got my gimbal, I've got my stuff. And so I'm interviewing her for content. And she goes, what can I do for you? And I said, well, I really want to help small businesses with lending. I want to provide capital access, She goes, go talk to this guy. So then when I went to go talk to Brad about it, he was the biggest sponsor of the event of Miami NFT Week, his organization, they had the freaking Bentleys and stuff parked out front. And so when I was in the VIP area, because I immersed myself, that was it. Then I ran to this guy who looked like he could be the owner, and I talked to him, and he said he was the owner. So when him and I first sat down to speak, I didn't come up to him and say, look, I want to raise $50,000. I want to raise $100,000. I didn't, he's got $2 million worth of cars out front of this thing. That just sounds ridiculous. So when I came to him and I said, look, I want to help small businesses in a major way. There's a problem with deploying capital out here. And I would like to start a fund to help small businesses. And he goes, well, what kind of money are you looking for? I said $200-300 million. And he goes, oh, you want a blockchain bank? You want a crypto bank? And I don't know what you call it. I just want $200-300 million to lend to small businesses. So I don't care what the wrapping looks like. That's what I want. And so guess what? We sat down. We had a conversation. He knew what it took to do it. He had already successfully done a token launch, and he had made other investors a lot of money. And so he said, look, he had the idea. And so now he's saying he was in a room with billionaires, and they were talking about small business lending as another asset class. And because there's actually in this country, I know a lot of people don't believe it, there's a shortage of assets. So when you're a billionaire, you already own real estate, you own stocks, you own mutual funds, you own bonds, you own like business, you own everything. Mm-hmm. So these people are looking for other ways to deploy capital.
Right.
And so the small business lending came up. And so when I brought that up to him, he was intrigued. And so we start talking. And by the way, if you're just joining us, 42 people I see now joining us. We're here at Fun Lunch Live event with Tamika, myself, and Tim. Mm-hmm. And so we're just sharing, kind of like talking about our experiences and our stories. We're going to go to about 11:45. I'm going to take questions and then we'll keep running. But I got to finish this story. So, because I want to answer her question, because I think this affects all of you watching and all the people that are going to be watching moving forward. So when I talked to him about the 2-3, and again, you don't have to have 200 million. You don't have to look. I'm not telling you I don't care if you got 50,000. You don't have to have that. You have to have that in your belief system and your brains. You have that conviction that that's what you want to do because you want to solve a big problem. If you're not solving a big problem, nobody wants to help you. Mm-hmm. So if you're just trying to figure out how to pay a light bill, pay a water bill, nobody wants to get behind that. That's not a cause, right?
Impact.
That's zero impact. So when I told him that, he came and he brought up, he's at Tony Robbins events. He threw out some names of people he was with and some German billionaire and this and that. You know what he said?
Your camera.
Just stop the recording.
Is it a way to take it off your card?
All right. Okay. So what happens is essentially he said I had more energy than the other people that he had spoke with. Think about that. He didn't say I had more money. He didn't say I had more connections. He said I had more energy. He said you seem much more eager to actually carry the idea through to the end. And he was right, because I'm hungry, because they already a billionaire. I'm not a billionaire, just in case y'all don't know. So I'm like, I'm not a billionaire, so I'm definitely going to follow through. He said, so you seem like, these people all talked about doing this, but they never went past talking about it. And he showed me old messages, and he said what we need to do. And he literally told me we need $15 million to get started. He says, but I could probably come up with the first 5 to 10 million. Does that make sense? So he didn't ask me to come up with 5 to 10 million. He said he's gonna come up with the first $5 to $10 million. So these are the kind of things that I'm saying to people out here is that if you want to get someone excited,
right?
If you want to get people aligned with your mission,
impact.
If you want to get them aligned with your vision, and you want them to want to associate with you, want to work with you, you have to do something bigger. So what I would say, first thing to you was whatever that you're thinking about in terms of what you're trying to do, make your vision 10 times as great as what it is, right? Go out and whatever your numbers you're trying to do, make it 10 times as big. And then start sharing it with people in your inner circle. And you'll be surprised how many people can help you. You'll be surprised how many people want to help you. And they will come out of the woodworks to try to align themselves with you just because they want to be associated with something big. Mm-hmm. Most of us are not working on anything big. So just to be associated with something that's multi-million dollar, people are going to look, what they're going to ask you, how can they help you? They're going to be the one, they're going to be, look, remember this, churches and nonprofits are ran with volunteers. We think we got to pay everybody. The largest organizations they're managing tens of thousands of volunteers. Mm-hmm. Volunteers. So why is it that we believe that the first thing out of our brain, we got to come out and start writing checks to people? Those might not be your best quality people when you just get started, because they're just there for a check. The people that are excited about your vision, excited to be with you, excited to be around you, those are the kind of people I think should come out the gate. And my friend taught me that a long time ago, and that's how we got started. And that's how I built my organization, was working with people that, again, I wanted them to be excited to be there and then believe in me and my mission and want to support me, and then they can help in the way you can. Sorry, long-winded answer, but
right,
I got to it.
And then you had a question here, and I'm gonna answer that one. I want to get, it's from Slim Daddy 9. I want to get into RE development. There is a severe shortage of housing around the 5 boroughs how can I access investment like that? Then how can I create my own fund? And I think here's the thing: when we're talking about creating your own fund, like the what we're seeing here at the event, no one is interested if it's only $50,000,
Oh no, no, no,
$100,000.
no, no.
We're not talking about those. We're talking about at least from what I've seen, a minimum of what you want to go with 10 million or you want to go 100 million.
Yeah, 10 million is sort of the benchmark here at this
Right.
particular group. It's 10 million gets you an award.
Right.
1 million just gets you like they don't even. I don't know.
It
I
don't
don't
even
know. Nobody
get
even talk to
recognized.
you.
You don't even
Nobody want to talk.
recognize.
You get to wear a
You don't even
white
recognize it.
badge. You don't
Yeah,
even
you
get
don't get
recognized.
recognized.
So
Right. So the reason why I was saying that I'm not.
Any up to 10 million.
Yeah, I'm not Slim Daddy. Not. I'm not saying don't do it. What I'm simply saying is if what you're going to do is not for a fund is not at a minimum of 10 million, you're not going to get the investment that you're looking for in order to do that. So you would rely on hard money lenders. You will be going, getting a group of people together, or maybe the city that you're in has some type of incentive or tax credit that you can bring in other people to help you build that out. But if you're gonna go in a fund direction, an investment fund direction, it's gonna need to be 10 million. And I can speak from that from experience before getting here. When I was talking to someone who wanted to sponsor me building out an apartment building, in totality, he's like, if it ain't 10 million, I can't do nothing with that.
yeah, because the thing is, you have to think about everyone has to make returns. So there's it's very difficult to make profit on returns, especially with investors at $1 million. Peter, no, it's not a Dow. So I'm trying to work with NASA, both as a concessionaire and visitor center. I've done my target market research and provide product labs a final prime contract for NASA's research clinic. Congratulations, good job, Marlon. What's going on? Uh, Again, people say, "What do you do? We don't have past performance." You're probably talking about non-past performance with the government. You do not need government past performance. All you need is past performance and actually doing the work. You don't need government contract and past performance. So as long as you got past performance in terms of doing the actual work, you're good.
Right.
Great, I hadn't thought about that way. I'll get you 2 books today. Good stuff. No, and that's what we want, right? What problem are you trying to solve? Good stuff.
Right, and then to add to it, what we've been talking about here for investment, this is let me clarify this. This isn't government contracting
Right.
funding that we're talking about. We're talking about creating your own fund that has an impact on your community and communities outside of your communities. Let's say that. And we're here to find out, how do you create a hedge fund or a private equity fund? What are the key pieces that you need, how to set that up, how do you even get paid from this
Right.
is another
Sure.
one, right? How do you get you a salary out of this? And that's what we're talking about. This is not necessarily government contracting. This is more along the lines like when you hear about a hedge fund like BlackRock or Blackstone that are worth billions,
Right. Right.
that are billions. And I wouldn't be surprised if was it BlackRock or Blackstone worth $1 trillion.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't be surprised, right?
They're talking about some big numbers.
Right. So that's what I want to make sure we do, that separation between the two. It's not about getting the access to the funds. It's more or less, how do you create your own fund and build that out.
D said Larry Fink of BlackRock, 11 trillion.
Yeah.
There you have it, 11 trillion dollars.
Right.
But for those, and again, we're going to wrap up here. And for those of you that are joining us, like you said, we were essentially, I was invited here. If you missed it in the beginning, I was invited here by one of my students who thought it might be of some interest to come to this event and look at doing my own fund, to do mergers and acquisitions. Obviously, that's the next progression of where we're at. No, Peter, everything's for profit. There's no such thing as a non-profit fund. We talk about this is all these
all
people
profit.
that look, they say they want to make FU money. That's just
That's it. That's exactly
that is a
what it's
term
saying.
that everybody's using around here, okay? FU money. They want to call up and say your helicopter pad is ready for you to land. Okay, your helicopter that you switch over, then you jump into the private jet, and then you go jump from the private jet that flies you over to, where was that lady came from yesterday? British
Which
Virgin
one?
Islands.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
she was on a
Virgin,
yacht,
yeah,
and then
she-
across from her was Richard Branson on the other yacht across from her. So this is different kind of money.
Right.
But for me, because of my audience and my crowd and government contracting space, what I like everyone to be thinking about is how do you take your ideas, your concepts, and then we're going to take and scale that and blow that up, basically.
Mhm.
So if you are in janitorial, like we say, okay, let's figure out how do we acquire 10 janitorial companies and roll that up, and now you went from 10 million to a $50 million a year janitorial business that we now has value, and we can turn around and sell it to even larger entity, private equity firm, cash out, and then start all over, do it all over again.
And that could also fall under a syndicate, right?
Yeah.
It could fall under syndication as well too. So it's it is all the things that we've heard and we've seen on TV and talked about, but I've never seen us doing
No.
that.
Look,
Right?
and let me tell you, the same way that I'm here is the same way I got in government contracting. When somebody told me about government contracting, I was like, oh, I don't know about that. I jumped in. The same way I'm here. So guess what? When y'all hear me talk about it, okay, I just want y'all to know, y'all heard it. We're talking about it. So don't be surprised when something comes up. And then, you heard it here first. Jerome, Marlon, Antoine, all of my people, y'all heard it. We're here. Like I said, I came here by accident, but I met there were some people already that knew me here. Obviously, Tamika knew me, but then there's some other people that knew me here as well that have systems in place already. They don't have my reach, so they're not as high profile and well networked as I am. But again, we put those two systems together, and now we've got a starter fund at 50 million that we can then take and explore. And by the way, I do want to go to the moon, not personally, but I do want to send rockets to the moon. So I told these guys, if we don't do anything, I want to build rockets and I want to send them to the moon because I think space is going to have unlimited budgets. So
Well, I can tell you they already do.
I know, but I want to. I got one of my podcast guests. I know want to build rockets. So I know she needed the capital. I could fund her. She build a rocket, and then I just want to take part of the credit, a little part.
Yeah, and I already told you I work on Space Force already.
I know you work on Space Force, but now I got somebody need help. But you didn't tell me you need capital for the rocket. Now, if you had told me if you needed capital for a rocket, then I'd be there.
I've been talking about they building Wi-Fi on the moon, right? And I've been talking about it.
I know. Look, Peter said you need to submit a proposal and write it to them. To who, Peter? Who you want to submit a proposal to? Look, we gotta go. Look, I love y'all. We gotta go. I gotta get out here. We gotta go to lunchtime. We gotta grab some interviews.
And last but not least, people ask what is I have on a wristband. I joined the Black Card Club. It's $30,000 at a minimum to get in, but it's basically the structure to help you build out your fund. It's a whole community, and you go from there.
So look, so you heard what she said, and that's something that's important. Like when in the very beginning of this, before the 57 of you came on watching, we talked about investing in yourself and showing up and being present, and that's what we did. I came here with 1 week notice. I signed up. I found out 2 weeks ago. The guy told me when I signed up, they were sold out of tickets. I was on a waiting list, but I paid my money even to be on the waiting list. They gave me a ticket. I booked my flights. The hotel was booked up. I had to find another hotel. So I didn't let all of that stand in my way from participating. And like you said, Natasha, that's network effect. So I showed up. I was present. A lot of you sitting out here not taking action. The biggest thing I've learned from all these people is they've taken action by not just being here, but paying for it. And so what she just said, they had a program that's called Black Card. It was 30K, 30K, and she signed up for it yesterday. Because why? The people that are there, that are the coaches, and that are the ones that are going to be coaching you, right? These folks right here, everybody here has a $10 million fund. Some of these people have $100 million funds. Some people have $1 billion funds. So when we're talking about, like, even my little program for 8K, we're talking, the things that we're discussing is doing AI in space, solving naval ship problems that are, the government said they already got 300 million they could throw at it. So we're talking about higher level activities, but in order for you to be in a room, you have to invest. And so again, it's one thing, like, and everyone says at all these events, it's one thing to sit back and watch and observe and to clap and cheer. It's another thing to put up some money and to get involved actively using your wallet and your credit card to show that. And then at the same time, now being able to sit down and talk with us. Because again, if you had been here, you could sit down and chop up with us. You could have went to dinner. You could have went to lunch. And then got all of your questions answered and wouldn't cost you nothing.
Right.
Right? It'd been free. So that alone would have offset the cost of what you spent to be here, because you could have brought your whole list of questions, a cheat sheet, and then same thing here. So that's what we're doing. Capability statement website. Yes, Nick, I do have one. It's called templateCapeStatements.com. I'll drop it in the chat. Go ahead, close us out.
All right, so the last but not least, again, goes back to what we talked about on the other channel. We came over from Tim's channel. We did a live there. This is our second live this morning. We're on here. I think we were 2 hours over there. We were 45 minutes over here. So, that's 2 hours and 45 minutes of streaming. And I ain't even did that on my own show. No?
Right.
But it's all good. What I simply want to say and wrap up with is understand the character of the people that you want to have in your group and around you, right? That's going to be super important because that's going to help you pick out the members of your fund. Think big. One of the big takeaways here is don't think of a small idea, think of a big idea first. And when I say think of a big idea, think of something at a minimum of 10 million that's going to affect what you want to move into. The other one is network with the people that are that are around you. How you doing? In your circle and so forth, right? You want to make sure that you do that. And then the last but not least, stop getting around people that dampen the idea that you could be 100 million or 200 million or 300 million, because what we saw this weekend is totally different than what we normally see when we're getting around other circles. The here is it is the energy, and I said this to Tim. I was like, I said, I felt like I was a party pooper because everybody was getting up, dancing and cheering, like and pumping. I felt like I was a party pooper, like I didn't feel the energy, but I understand when you start talking about you building a fund of 100 million, 200 million, a billion, 5 billion.
There again, everyone's talking about impact, how many people they can hire, how many people they can employ, the jobs they can create, the lives they can change. So if you had that kind of money and resources, then you could go out and hire the people that you're talking about. You can bring on the kind of people that you want to be around and help those people as well. So hey, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already done it. Nick says when we're coming next, you're going to be on live. I'm not going live. I got to go eat lunch, and then I got 2 more people that I'm supposed to film during lunch. I don't even know how that's possible, and then Tim's got to get out and catch a plane. So, and by the way, isn't it today Sunday?
Saturday.
No, today's
Saturday. See, I don't even know what days it is anymore.
Yeah, I lost track.
I lost track too. So
I lost track too. I know we partied tonight. There's a black card event. We're going to the track and we get the.
Oh yeah, they get race cars.
We get the race car. We get the Lamborghini.
They get race Lamborghinis tonight.
Lamborghinis tonight and Porsches and so forth. So I know.
Yeah, so you guys should feel bad for her because she's gonna race Lamborghinis and Porsches tonight at their black card event. So look. I mean, they're just prepping you for where you're supposed to be at. So.
Exactly. All right. You should be comfortable.
Yeah. I will say about 3 years ago, at my buddy's Lamborghini, we hit that mode, sports, whatever that mode, where everything turned red. I did make a YouTube video about it, and I was scared out of my pants. So I didn't ever want to do that again. So that's cool if y'all want to race that. I did that mode before, and I was like, nah, I don't want to do that mode. You had to basically take off all of the protections from crashing, and so you turn off all the features. The whole car lights up red.
Yeah.
Like the whole lamp, like the thing inside lights up. It's like flashing red all over the dash, and
I'm gonna try it tonight. I'm gonna record it.
I'm gonna pray for you.
I'm gonna be on the track.
Record it. Be on the track. Okay.
But
I will say, if you've never done it before, it is really cool to get in a Lambo and turn it on that mode and then be able to. But I didn't want to do it no more. I did it down at Homestead near the Speedway, and I'm good. That's once for me. I'm good. I'm gonna stick to a big truck that sits up high over everybody else that I feel safe if somebody crashes into me.
I got you. But that was what I wanted to add. Tim, I'm gonna press the button and let you give your shout out. Join us on Women in Linux. We go live. We'll go live next weekend. We probably should all 3 get together and just give a big overview of everything. I know you got content for your channel, but I don't know how we can stream on all 3 channels at the same time or something like that.
I'm sure people figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure something out.
Tim, tell the people hi so we can get out of here.
All right, y'all. So it's Tim, also known as the Intentional Millionaire. And the final thought for you, everybody, in your personal life, your business life, your funds life, is can you go hit the record button? For everyone, just take it. The takeaway for me is ICARD, and ICARD stands for have integrity, have great character, be accountable, and be responsible. And if you focus on those four things, you can have a great business life, a great family life, and a great personal life. And with that being said, we're going to take you away. Y'all have a great day. That's Tim, the Intentional Millionaire. Go over to the Intentional Millionaire channel and check me out. Peace.
All right, be good. Stephanie, tell Will I said what's up. All right, I'll see everyone.
Yeah, the memory card filled up now. So